to commercial break. We actually have Bill Manson. He was on the show. He wrote a book about his second wife and his mother and his mother-in-law or something like that. Wow. However, we got the wife coming in today, the ex-wife, and I can't wait to...
William had no idea getting a haircut would be the biggest decision he'd ever make. He and Dora soon married, but there was trouble brewing. It didn't take long to discover why. Find out more in My Second Wife and Her Mother.
Today.
Great.
All right. You know what he missed out on the book? Okay. He missed, while he was doing all the, He should have just had a picture showing how good you look. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She'll see like she don't pay me.
What do you mean, in the book?
Yeah.
Well, I have to have a permission, but
yeah, well, you should have had a permission. Look, I'm not going to go there with him, right? How are you?
I'm great.
All right, so now I was asking you during commercial break, what would you like me to call you? Because, see, in the book, so...
You can call me the name in the book.
You kind of like the name?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. so let's talk. I want to know, what was your first thought when you knew that he had wrote this book and it was all about you all?
Well, I told him he shouldn't have wrote the book so soon, after the divorce and everything. I told him he should have waited. Because a lot of times you can say things when you're hurt. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's not all true, but, he went on and did it, so.
Oh, so you saying it's not all true, the book?
Well, I mean, there's two sides to every story.
That's why I got you here. I said, we got to get it here. So tell me, let's because some of the parts in the book, it actually was speaking on how you all actually dated, and he met you in a barber shop, and man, you was just like his first love, and I know you all are people that believe in church and believe in the Lord, and trust me, that's a blessing. Yeah. But when Bill was on the show, I had another young lady from a radio station show, and we said, what, Bill, you a fool? So, you all dated, right, for the first 3 years. Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. Whatever makes you comfortable.
Okay, well, we dated for 3 years.
We didn't date a full 3 years, but we dated for a while, and she stayed in my in my home for a while. So maybe that's what I was really. You lived with him for about 3 years prior to you all getting married. How does it work? Let's about
talk.
6 months.
Okay.
She stayed in my house for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we met at this barbershop where I worked. Mm-hmm. I'm a nail technician. So we met there once because I was sick. And we met there once, and my sickness took a turn for the worse, and I came home. Well, anyway, I had given him one of my cards, and he called me, I guess after weeks or months later, whatever. Why haven't you been back to work? I said, well, I've been sick, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm taking a leave of absence for a while. And he said, oh, okay. So he would call me all the time. We weren't dating. He was just calling me to see how I was doing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then we, he turned out to be a good friend, and we talked, and, over some months. And my brother had passed, and my mother was like, I was living with my mom, because after I got sick, I got rid of my condo and I moved with my mother. Mm-hmm. And my mother was taking care of me. And my brother passed like a few months later, and my mother wanted to get out of where she was living, leave from where she was living, because it was too much for her, because he died like around the corner or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so Bill would talk a lot with my brother. Mm-hmm. And my brother suggested to him that while we were in the process of looking for a place, that we come and stay with him, me and my mother and I.
Oh, okay, because that's not how it's written in the book.
I don't know.
Okay.
Is that true,
So,
Bill?
so,
I thought you and I was talking.
I mean, because it sounds like, that you just made your way in the home of Bill's and,
Right,
and
because Bill was my friend. And I met him, just like I said, at the shop one time. But he kept calling me. And this is how we ended up just becoming friends.
So you wasn't attracted to him at the beginning? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was not. He was a friend.
Really?
You know what? He was a friend.
But in the book, it don't, it doesn't say, it says that you was his love, his first sight, and
He may have felt all that.
okay.
But-
But did you know that that's what was going on?
No, not really, because I was sick and Bill knows that. And we would talk. He would call me from time to time. And it wasn't that I was falling in love with him. I mean, it was none of that. It was like a friend, someone I'm talking to him. I was talking to him. And he kind of pushed his way into my life.
I pushed my way in your
He
life.
pushed his way into my life. Okay. And just like I said, him and my brother would talk a lot. And that's how we ended up at his home, me and my mother and I. We ended up at his home.
So that explains the part of, I don't know, you lived in his home for how long?
It was about 6 months or so.
6 months?
Yes, she
Okay.
stayed about
So
6
that
months.
so that explains how you lived there, but it was really on more of a friendship coming from you.
Yes. 'Cause my
But
mother
Bill
was
wasn't
paying
thinking
rent.
that. Okay.
My mother was paying him money,
Okay.
giving him money until we found a place. And because he offered us to come stay with him while we were looking, in the process
Okay.
of looking for
Okay.
a place. And so me and my mom came to his house, and we stayed there. And that's like I said, I was sick, and Bill knew that. And while my mom was looking for us a place, my mother paid him rent. He asked her for so much a month and gave it to her. We had separate rooms, so it was no love affair. It might have been with him, because he kept telling me.
So really, you honestly didn't know that Bill thought it was more than what it was.
No, I did not. Let me finish. Because Bill kept telling me that the Spirit of God told him
That's
that I'm
what he
supposed
got
to
in
be
the
his
book.
wife.
That's what he
and
got
I
back.
told him that
Yo.
the Spirit of God never spoke to me and told me that you was my husband. I said, but he may tell me later on down the line, I don't know. But at this particular time, I'm sick. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
And most of us as women, I mean,
Right.
I don't want to use the term sometimes. We say, well, somebody helping you.
Right.
You basically, like you say, you were sick, and it was just like, okay, well, Bill is here. And even though you're looking at it, it's like, I appreciate. I'm just trying to
Exactly.
clarify this book, Bill.
And I thought it was God. I mean, I'm like, God sent someone in my life,
Right.
to help me through this time in my life. That's how I looked at it. God used, because Bill knows I was all into the church. I'm all into, still is into the church.
Right. He says that.
My thing was, God had sent people to help me when I was raising my 3 boys. So I thought this was like an act of God. He sent Bill into my life to help me.
So let me ask you about, okay, now, so the 6 months is up and you all then actually, you and your mom moved out. So what happens after that?
So once we moved out, that was, I think, me and Bill were still friends. We were still, he was a little bitter about it, but we were still friends and whatnot. We were friends. We were friends like on and off, right? We were friends on and off.
We will never stop being friends.
Right, we never stopped being friends. He always would call me. I would call him, see how he was doing. He was seeing how I was doing because I was still going through my illness and stuff. And he would come take me out sometimes, to the park, or we would walk, or he was like, you weak, maybe you should walk and stuff like that. So he would walk and talk with me and things like that. He still kept saying.
So let me ask you, because
Go ahead.
you as a very nice looking woman, and you got this man that's really got himself together and willing to kind of do things and be nice to you.
Right.
I mean, at some point we all are grown. We know that, especially as a single woman raising your own children on your own, we know that we can play off of certain things. Even though, God put us in the way,
Right.
He's always there for us, and it's always just like, oh, he's a blessing. Because I've had men in my life that have came and did stuff, and I really wasn't attracted to them. But I accepted.
Right.
And I did stuff that I was just doing it just because this person is nice.
Right.
But I always had deep in my head that, hey, this is not what's happening.
Well,
This
he
is
knew
not
that.
where I want to be.
But see, he knew that. One thing I never told him other than that. Now, later on, and maybe, I think it was a few months before we married.
Yeah, because that's why I want to get to.
Okay, so a few months before we married, and my brother and my sister, they kept coming to me, Donna, you so sick. Why don't you just, Bill is a nice person. Why don't you just go ahead on and date him and marry him or whatever? Be with him, because he would take care of you and
He
look out
been
for you and
doing
stuff
all
like
this,
that.
which is what
And
I was
he
just
doing all this
saying.
stuff for you and everything, And even though I didn't feel it in my heart to do that, yes, I did do it. I married him. And once I did it, and I let Bill know that it was a bad mistake on my part, because what I was going through and whatnot,
Okay,
and being
so let me
pushed
ask you.
and whatnot,
Let's back up before the marriage, because you and Bill, actually this stuff went on, obviously, maybe 3 years prior to you all actually getting married, or I know you said 6 months you was actually living there, but
And then we went, I think, a whole year. I think it was like a whole year or so. We probably really didn't contact each other that much. Because we left his house, I think it was the early part of '07. We left his house. And then Bill didn't.
When is it, April 15?
Okay, '07, right?
Right.
Yeah. So.
look, he remember the date. He's
Yeah,
still in
and
love.
so-
You better be careful.
It's a lot of them.
I see that. What I said earlier. You hear? She
I
said
mean,
it's a
but
lot
the
of
thing is,
them.
it's not my fault. I mean,
You right.
No.
You right. And I ain't mad at you for it. I ain't mad at you for it at all. Go ahead with your bad self.
So I think it was 2008, towards the end of 2008, I believe, that we started back talking again.
Okay.
And I think going into 2009, we probably started dating a little bit or whatnot.
I think it was March
March.
2009.
Okay, March 2009.
Bill, don't give us no more actual date.
Okay.
You was not on Judge Matthews or.
I can't help it because I have such a good memory.
Ooh, Lord, what you do to him. However, you all got married. So let's talk about the actual marriage. What went on? What was
A lot of
so
things
bad
went
you
on.
couldn't hang? What y'all stay married?
6 months. Oh, wow. I think the second month, maybe.
Or what?
The second month of the marriage, or the third month of the marriage,
What happened?
that you forget. Well, anyway, so I
I don't
told
know where you're
him,
going with that, so I'm
because
trying to see
I
where
told
you're
him then that I feel like I made a mistake and I shouldn't have done that. I should not have married him, because when you marry someone, you in love with them. You
want to be in love.
You want to be in love with them. You don't want to be liking them.
Exactly.
And I knew he loved me. And
So like I
but
said,
a lot of times,
well, okay.
right, but a lot of times, sometimes you fall in love with the person
Right.
once you get with them. And once again, being in my state, I said, well, maybe I could fall in love with him.
Maybe some things could
could
change,
come out
and I
of
could
this.
look at
Right,
it in a
different way.
Trust me, I understand where you're coming from. Been there.
Now, do you recall you telling me that that you made a mistake and that you had a dream one night and you woke up out of your dream and you said the spirit told you that you made a mistake, you married the wrong man? Was that around the same
Right,
time?
because it was like I said I shouldn't have married you, because there was a lot of things in my life that was not.
So let me ask you, because after you all got married, and I know because Bill talks about it in the book that sexually you all was not in contact with each other until.
Oh yeah, I never slept with him. No. You talking about before marriage?
Before marriage,
never,
no.
Okay,
never,
right,
never,
and that's
never.
what he says
Never.
I said that in the book.
He
Never.
says that in the book, and my thing is, because again, you only stayed married to him, and you start realizing, like you said, after a couple of months, hey, I'm not happy.
No, that I made a mistake.
That you made a mistake.
Yeah. And I told him, he was hurt, and I was hurt telling him I made a mistake. I should not have done that.
So, you also, it says in the book that you says to him, well, you wanted to go back to your ex.
Well, I told him I never cleared up things with my ex. Am I back with my ex? No. Am I with my ex? No.
No,
Okay.
you wasn't with him, but you said you was going back to him.
No, I don't remember saying that. I said I had not cleared up things with him. Because once we got married, my ex was calling me different things like that, and he was like, because he was like, when did all this happen? When did all this take place? 'Cause I wasn't really in contact with him either, my ex, but he was coming back into my life to try to make things work with me. And so...
but it was something he wasn't doing at the
ex?
time.
The ex?
That Bill, exactly.
Oh,
That
yeah, he
Bill
wasn't
was-
around.
That Bill was really, had that whole low,
Right.
you were able to depend on him at the time. And trust me, I'm telling you, I understand where you're coming from. I totally do, and I'm so glad that you took a moment out to come on the show, because we getting Bill's story from the book.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And at a certain point, we was kind of feeling sorry for him, but then again, we was like, you know what, Bill, you kind of crazy, But we hearing it. We're hearing it now, and Bill, now that you actually hear it, and I know that you didn't heard it before, because you can tell that you all kind of do keep in communication with one another.
Yeah, we're still
Yeah.
friends.
Okay.
We stay in touch.
Yes,
we
we do.
call each other, and
I think we've even been to the show a couple of times.
yeah, we have.
Yeah, I mean, because he was my friend first, and you know how sometimes you have a friend and is someone you can talk to and there for you, and they say it's not good to marry your friend.
And you know what? Another thing is that a lot of people don't believe that women could have male friends, and even in the situation with you and Bill, you looked at Bill as a really good friend, but Bill, as being a man, wasn't taking it as, oh, we just friends, because it's obviously because of all the things that he was doing for you, right?
Right, that I did not ask him to do. Bill knows that. Go ahead. Because
About 6 weeks
God
after-
said.
After 6 weeks, I was knowing her. I told her at her old apartment that the Spirit of God told me she was my wife.
So how you feel about it now?
Well, I mean, what happened?
I'm just asking.
What happened has happened, and it's nothing that I can change or she can change because the way things did happen. But
Let me ask you, if she came back tomorrow and said, I changed my mind, I want to be with you, Bill, you would take her back, wouldn't you? Tell the truth.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like I told her, and that is, if it has to be the Spirit of God telling me that she's my wife again, and that for me to take her back. And
So what did the Spirit tell you about Bill? Honestly, I mean, even after.
Well, when Bill was telling me that, I told him, I said, that's not what's been said to me. Seriously. And I was
well, she always told me.
I've always told him that. I
Yes, she
said, that's
did.
not what it is. I said, God has not spoke to me and told me that.
She said the Spirit of
and my
God has
family
not
kept
told me
pushing.
that.
They kept pushing it.
because he was so nice.
Right,
and
you know
he
what?
was so
And you know what? He
good,
didn't even, and not even, yeah, it was that. And they wanted the best for me because I've always been an independent woman, always took care of myself. And when I got sick, it wasn't just, everybody in my family, I'm the oldest of 10. Everybody in my family was like crazy. And my brother, who loved me so, him and Bill, and I guess he really was like coaching Bill on in so many words. And I used to get on him about that. I said, stop doing that. Well, Donna, he's a nice guy, and blah, blah, blah. You don't know how long you're going to be sick, and da-da-da-da. Yeah, but don't do that. And I guess after being sick, and then they just constantly talking to me about it. And I just said, maybe I'll give it a try.
You tried.
I tried
and
it.
then you
I
once
did.
you tried it and you realized you was thinking at the beginning, well, maybe I can do this and I can get past this.
And I can get past this, and you know,
I can
it can
be
work out.
attracted. I mean, so it was never no attraction.